Hello students, I am Professor Isha Mehderata from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today I am going to start with the fourth chapter of our syllabus, that is measurements. This is a chapter which has a weightage of 17% according to GTU syllabus. It is a chapter which deals with different measurement techniques which are related to semiconductors. Semiconductors was the chapter which we have covered prior to this. Now this particular chapter is divided into 7 subtopics. So in today's video, I will be discussing the first subtopic, that is 4-probe method. Let's start. So before I move on to 4-probe method, let us discuss what is the parameter which is measured using 4-probe method, and that is what is known as sheet resistance or surface resistivity. Now we know what resistance is. It is a property which opposes the flow of electric current. But what is sheet resistance? Sheet resistance is an electrical property which characterizes thin films of conducting and semiconducting materials. Why do we use the word thin films? Because this particular property is very important while we are designing any electronic device. Because if we are designing any electronic device, we should design it in such a way that it has the least resistance to avoid the losses. How do we define the word sheet resistance? It is defined as resistivity of a material divided by its thickness. Moving ahead, what are the advantages of sheet resistance? Why is the need to measure and define a term sheet resistance? The first advantage says it is independent of the size of square, and this enables an easy comparison between different samples. It does not depend upon the squares we have considered in the sample, and that is the reason if we consider two different samples, there is an easy comparison between the two if we are dealing with sheet resistance. Next, it can directly be measured using 4-probe method. So it's a very easy method using which we can determine what sheet resistance is. Coming on to the applications of sheet resistance, the first application, it is a critical property for any material in which electrical charges travel along. Say for example, we are dealing with solar cell and organic LEDs. Now they are the devices which require low values of sheet resistance to transport the electrical charge. Why is low resistance required? So that the losses are minimized. So this is one of the application. Next we have, it also helps in the measurement of resistivity and conductivity of materials. So if we measure sheet resistance, from this we can determine the resistivity or the conductivity of samples both. Now let's see how sheet resistance is calculated. How do we find sheet resistance? So let me just explain you a simple figure wherein we have assumed some parameters. Say A is the cross-sectional area of a conductor, L is the length of conductor, W is the width, and T is the thickness of this sample. How do we define resistance of such a sample? Resistance R is proportional to L upon A, and hence we get the formula R is equals to rho L by A. Here rho is the resistivity of the sample. But the term A used here, I can write area as W into T, that is width into thickness is nothing but the cross-sectional area. So here I can just write R as RS into L by W. What have I done in this equation? I have just taken rho upon T ratio as RS, where I denote RS as the sheet resistance. And this gives us RS is equals to rho by T, where RS is known as sheet resistance of the sample. We know the unit of resistance is ohm, but the unit of sheet resistance is denoted as ohm per square. It is because we use this property to measure resistance of thin films, we denote it by ohms per square. Now, before moving ahead, let us discuss what basically is the difference between 2-probe and 4-probe methods. Because here in this video we are going to discuss 4-probe method. We should know the basic difference between the two. Now 2-probe method, I will give you an example of a multimeter. Let's see with the help of a diagram what exactly is 2-probe method. So in this diagram you can see two probes or you can say two connectors. Now what happens while we use 2-probe method, we have a set, or you can say two cables. These are the two cables which are used to supply energy, and these are the two cables which will measure the value of voltage. So what happens in this type of measurement, you can just see that the current which is being input and the current which is being output also includes the resistance of the sample as well as the probe resistance. So what happens in this case, the probe resistance, that is contact resistance and probe resistance, is added on to the reading which we are actually measuring. This is okay if you are measuring higher values of resistances, but sheet resistance is a property which has a very, very low value. If measuring sheet resistance by this method, there will be a disadvantage that the contact resistance and probe resistance is added because we use only two connectors. Now let's see what a 4-probe method is. So difference between a 2-probe and a 4-probe method, you can see from the diagram. In the diagram, it is clearly seen that there are total 4 probes connected. 2 probes are used to supply current. So one will input current, the other will take out current, and the voltage, the potential difference, is measured with the help of another set of probes. So what happens in this type of measurement? The voltage value we are measuring is from the inner 2 probes, and that will not include the contact and the probe resistance. And so we will get a more accurate reading. Now let us move on to what 4-probe method is. A 4-probe method is also known as a 4T or a 4-terminal sensing, or you can say a 4-wire sensing method. Why is it known as 4-terminal sensing? Because of the 4 probes which are used to measure. Let's see what 4-probe method is exactly. It is an electrical impedance measuring technique. Impedance here means resistance. So it is an electrical impedance measuring technique which uses separate pairs of current carrying and voltage sensing electrodes to make accurate measurements. In the previous diagram, we have seen that 2 electrodes are used to supply current and 2 electrodes are used to measure the voltage. What are the uses of this method? It is used to measure sheet resistance of either a thin film or a bulk sample. Now this particular method is divided into 2 parts. So now we'll be discussing the basic setup first, and then we'll be considering the 2. So the basic setup of 4-probe method, it has a set of 4 probes which should have a distance S between them. So this is what we are considering. Next, current source is connected between the outer 2 probes and voltmeter is connected between the inner 2 probes. A constant current source, as I said, goes through the outer 2 probes, and a very high impedance voltmeter is used to measure the drop between the inner 2 probes. So current is supplied between the outer 2 probes and voltage is measured between the inner 2 probes. Now let's move on to case number 1, wherein we consider S, that is distance between the 2 probes, should be very, very small as compared to sample thickness. And this case we are naming as bulk sample. Let us first understand what exactly is a bulk sample. You can see in the diagram that you have a sample which has a thickness T, and the probe spacing, you can see the distance between the probes. So compared to the probe spacing, we have taken more thickness. Now here you can see from the diagram probe number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So probe number 1 and probe number 4 are having current source connected, which is going to supply a constant current I. Between the probes 2 and 3, we are considering a voltmeter connected. As per the setup I explained, this voltmeter should have a very, very high impedance. Now just have a look at the diagram. You can clearly see that all the 4 probes are connected on the top. They are just connected on the surface. They are not penetrating the surface, they are on the surface. That means 4 contacts are made on the surface and the 4 probes are connected on those contacts. What will happen in this case? The current always spreads radially, but this current will directly penetrate the sample. Your probes are not penetrating the sample. This is very clear from the diagram. Next, what I have done is, I have just assumed x-axis and I have labeled probe number 4 as 0, corresponding to this x-axis 3 as x1 and 2 as x2. Now why have I measured? Because what we are going to do is, we are going to measure the potential difference between x1 and x2. So according to this assumption, I can say that the distance on the x-axis, the distance of probe number 3, if I consider is S, but the distance of probe number 2, that is the distance of x2, is s plus s, which gives us 2s. So while calculating the differential resistance, we will be taking the limits as x1 and x2, that is s to 2s. Now in this particular diagram, you can measure the differential resistance, a small value of resistance, and then we will integrate it. So differential resistance dr between the 2 points x1, x2 is calculated as rho dx by A. Instead of L, we have taken dx because we have considered the points x1 and x2. Now, before starting the derivation part, let me just explain you that if you have a probe which is connected on the surface of the material, it is not penetrating the material, how will the current spread? Now just assume that the probe was inserted. The current spreading would have been spherical. The current spreads like this in a spherical manner. But here the probe is just on the surface. So how will the current spread? All the current lines will penetrate down and it will actually give you a hemispherical spreading of current. Hemispherical means half of a sphere. We also have to understand two different concepts, that is two different diagrams, that is superposition of current. Now we have current from probe number 1. It is entering from probe number 1 and it is coming out from probe number 4. Current does not pass on to probe number 2 and 3 because of the high impedance voltmeter connected. Now what exactly happens to the current? The current actually adds on as per the diagram shown here, and this is what is known as the superposition current. The red colored dot in the first diagram indicates current being input, so we denote it by positive charge, and current as output denoted by the blue colored circle, which indicates negative charge. So input indicates positive and output indicates negative. The second diagram shows how these electric fields of the currents add up, and this is what we call superposition of currents. Now these three diagrams are very important to start with the derivation. So now let's move ahead and start with the derivation. So we had defined differential resistance dr as rho dx by A. So now if I want to find out R from dr, I will have to integrate. So on integrating, we have R is equals to, the limits were x1 to x2 because they denote the probe number 2 and 3. So R is equals to integration x1 to x2 rho dx by A. In this equation, we have A, which denotes area. What is the area of a hemisphere? Because the current spreads in a hemispherical manner. Area of a sphere is 4 pi r square and area of a hemisphere is 2 pi x square. We will say x square because x is the distance we have considered while measuring the voltage. So substituting the equation of area, we get R is equals to integration x1 to x2 rho dx upon 2 pi x square. You can see from this equation that the term rho and 2 pi is constant. So taking out the constant terms and then integrating. Integration here will be integration of 1 upon x square dx, which gives us minus 1 upon x. So taking out the constant terms and integrating, we get rho upon 2 pi is a constant which is taken outside, and we get minus 1 upon 2s plus 1 upon s, because x1 is equals to s and x2 is equals to s plus s, that is 2s. So this gives us the answer R is equals to rho upon 4 pi s. We call this equation as equation number 1. Now in the previous diagram, we had seen superposition of currents, that is adding up of electric fields. So due to the superposition of currents at the outer two probes, we get the value of R as V upon 2I because the electric fields of the current adds up, we get R is equals to V upon 2I. We call this equation as equation number 2. Now what do? We compare these two equations and we get rho upon 4 pi s is equals to V upon 2I. Cancelling the common terms, we get the final equation as rho is equals to 2 pi s into V upon I. You can say this resistivity depends upon the probe spacing S. It also depends upon the voltage measured because I is a constant term. So this equation, the equation 2 pi s into V by I is equals to rho, it is applicable to bulk samples only, not to thin films, because thin films is the second case which we are going to discuss. So now Let us start with case number 2, that is case for a thin sample where we consider the spacing between the probes to be greater than the thickness of sample. So let's just understand with the help of a diagram how a thin sample measurement is done. Same as the previous one, it uses 4 probes. Probe number 1, 2, 3, 4. Current is being input from probe number 1, taken out from probe number 4. It's a constant current source. Voltage is being measured between probe 2 and 3. We have labeled probe number 3 as x1, probe number 2 as x2. So distance from this end will be s and distance of x2 will be 2s. Thickness of the sample you can see is t. Again, we are going to measure differential resistance between the two probes as rho dx by A. Now, in this case also, all the contacts are made on the surface. So when you pass current through it, current is going to spread but in a different manner. Let's see how. In the previous case, we had a hemispherical spreading of current, but here, because the thickness is very less, so just assume that the current is being inputted. What will happen? The current does not have space because the thickness is very less. So what will happen? The moment your current enters the sample, it will spread in a ring-like pattern, and this is how the spreading of current we get. You can say ring-like spreading, or you can denote it by a hollow cylinder. So we will be using the area or as the area of a hollow cylinder. Let us again discuss what is superposition of currents here. Again, we have one input probe, the other output probe. So what actually happens is input field is denoted by positive electric field and output is denoted by negative electric field. And so we get addition of electric fields leading to superposition of currents. Now let us start with the derivation part. So we had defined dr as rho dx by A. On integrating, we get r is equals to integration x1 to x2 rho dx by A. As I just mentioned that spreading of current is in the form of ring or a hollow cylinder, we define area as area of a hollow cylinder, which is defined as 2 pi xt. So r will be equal to integration x1 to x2 rho dx upon 2 pi xt. Here again we take out constant terms and we integrate. So the constant terms here are rho upon 2 pi t. They are taken outside the integration limit, and then we have integration of 1 upon x dx. The integration gives us ln x. So taking out all the constant terms and then integrating, we get the answer as r is equals to rho upon 2 pi t into ln 2. This is our equation number 1. Again, we have superposition of currents at the outer two probes, and so we get the equation r is equals to v upon 2I. This is our equation number 2. Now we compare both these equations and we get rho upon 2 pi t ln 2 is equals to v upon 2I. 2 from the denominator will get cancelled. You take ln 2 on the other side, so we have pi t upon ln 2 into v by I. So that gives us the answer. Rho is equals to 4.53 into t into v upon I, where the value of pi upon ln 2 is calculated as 4.53. So this particular equation applies to thin films. Here you can notice that it depends upon the thickness of the film, because that matters, because that is the reason we get a lower value of resistivity. Once you have calculated rho, dividing it by thickness, we get the value of Rs, because we had defined Rs as rho by T. So Rs in this case can be determined as 4.53 into V by I. So this was about the case 2. What are the advantages of this method? Very low resistance values can be measured. Next, accurate values of resistivity can be measured because we are using a voltmeter having a very high impedance and 2 separate set of probes have been used. Next, errors due to probe resistance are neglected. Why? Because the probe resistance is not considered, because the current does not pass through those 2 probes. What are the applications of this method? It is used in remote sensing areas and to measure the resistance of resistance thermometers. So this was about the first topic, that is 4-probe method from the chapter, in which we have discussed what is the basic difference between 2 probes and 4 probes. What do you mean by the term sheet resistance? What are its applications and advantages? Why is sheet resistance required? We have studied 2 different cases of 4-probe method along with advantages and applications. Hope you have understood all the topics I discussed very well. I will be starting with topic number 2, that is Van der Pol method, in my coming video. Till then, take care. Thank you.